What do you think about musical genius? Are there anybody like Mozart around, or was that a thing of the past?
Well, I think the knowledge of composition that exists today is actually greater than ever. And there are probably some very wonderful composers that nobody knows about, and we have yet to discover. There is a boy at Juilliard right now. The last I knew, I saw something on television about him. He was 15 years old, had already written 5 symphonies by the time he was 10.
Wow.
And has a phenomenal technical musical ear. And I have to confess that I don't know much of his music at all. And I know as much as any TV watcher would know about Jay Greenberg. But I could say, from my knowledge as a composer, that I think that's not the only kind of musical ear. And Tchaikovsky, for example, did not have that technical ear that someone like Jay Greenberg has. And I would say that what a composer like Tchaikovsky has is an ear that is more evaluative. It hears the values in tones and the values, and when I say values, I mean musical values. And this is something hard to describe, but I think there is an ear that hears the musical value of tones and the relative use of tones. So I think the great composers either had both or one of these. And then I think the other factor is they need to have an artist's temperament. And again, it's not clear that Jay Greenberg, or anybody for that matter, desperately needs their art unless they manifest that in their lives. It's the artist's psychology of a deep need for their art form. And in that sense, often the unconscious mind assists that kind of personality. So that's the third element, I would say, that is in the great composers. It's not just this technical ear, it can also be the evaluative ear, but they also need the assistance of this subconscious mind that's part of their personality as an artist. And so I would say Jay Greenberg is fascinating as an example of just the extreme of the technical ear. You don't know whether that will develop or whether it will ever, you just don't know.
As a composer, does music just come to you spontaneously? Does it come to you in dreams? How do you write?
Well, actually, I'm using all the common methods that composers have always used involving the musical imagination. And so themes come from improvisation. Sometimes I'll be walking down the street and I'll notice there's a pretty good melody going on. And usually that involves harmonic implications that are there. And over the years, I've kept notebooks of themes. This happened when somebody gave me a beautiful book as a gift. I don't actually have that with me, but I began to keep a diary almost. And I have now, over the many years' time, I have probably 5,000 of these themes that in one way or another I've written down. This is just a few of the what you'd call musical diaries. We'll see if we can get the camera close enough. But that is one of they're in booklets.
And that says Ashland,
this
1988,
I usually put
New York,
yes.
1989.
I usually put the place, and then here's just a couple pages with roughly 20 of the musical themes.
That's amazing.